Hi everybody, it's Carol. I am going to try a screencast for this last video for OTL 5500 where we discuss our Web 2.0 tools. And so this week we are supposed to talk about our favorite Web 2.0 tools, and I'm going to first of all talk about Screencast-O-Matic, which I feel like creates such a personal way to deliver information online. We have seen weekly, in fact, weekly since January from Dr. Langhorst, the um, screencast that he's done for us to demonstrate the different articles or points that he wanted us to get in each week's lesson, and it just made it feel like we were in a class with somebody. And I think that if we are going to be teaching students through a computer, through online, a virtual situation, that this is one way to make it very personal to students. And so I feel like this is something that I need to learn how to do. So this is sort of my student teaching moment, so to speak. So we'll see how the rest of it goes. It's actually my third or fourth attempt. I tried yesterday and it didn't work. And so I tried a few minutes ago and the website situation didn't work. So we'll see how it goes. With Screencast-O-Matic, you can do this from a PowerPoint, which I've done, and Dr. Langhorst never does that. But my backgrounds were very messy, and so I decided to do it so I could have a black background. But I found that linking to a website from the PowerPoint doesn't work if you want the website to be active, or it didn't work for me. So that could have been my problem, of course. So anyway, the Screencast-O-Matic is probably my favorite tool. And my second favorite tool would be Padlet. And I will describe that in a minute. And then my last favorite tools, really, I can't say that it's slides specifically. I use slides. I think I'll tell you about that in a minute. I think Google Docs probably are even more important to me than slides, but I didn't use that as one of my 2.0 tools when we turned in our lesson plan, so I didn't feel like I could use that for this presentation, but I think those are just good tools. I chose these three specifically because they're free for students, so they don't have to pay any extra. You know, they're already buying books, and I felt like this would be good, something free for them to use. And also, I think that they're fairly easy to use. There's not a big learning curve. So I felt like those were important to me as a teacher, that I could actually learn to use them myself and help them, and they also could learn to use them. So anyway, so the first thing that I want to be able to show you is Padlet, and I'm going to try and escape out of this and see if I can go to Padlet. I'm going to link to it like I did the last time and see if I can get a different screen up. I couldn't get the Padlet, how to create one. It says create, but anyway, this is Padlet right here, and this is their opening screen. And what they tell you is that basically Padlet is like a virtual bulletin board. And if you look right here, you can see this is a Padlet right here. And each of these little boxes are additions that someone has put on the Padlet. And so you can use a Padlet to basically put a sticky note on this wall. And I think it's a great idea. I tried it with a project for one of my lesson plans, and I thought it was pretty easy. So let me see if I can show you one. I don't know, it didn't work when I tried it just a few minutes ago, but we'll give it a try. And if it doesn't, then I'll just go on. Well, that's quite a background, isn't it? You can see that the backgrounds for Padlet can be wild, like this one is, or you can also choose from a variety of backgrounds. And that was the problem that I had a few minutes ago. It did not show me, it would not let me choose the other backgrounds. So I don't know if it will do it this time or not. Let me see if it'll do. Let me see if I go to here. If I go to school, maybe it will. I just don't think it's going to let me do it. For some reason, before it let me have a whole screen that showed you how to create, and that's really what I wanted to do, but it's just being very, here we go, here we go. All right, so here's the background for Padlet right here, but if you look over here, this is the whole creative part of it. All right, you could modify your Padlet. So here you can make your title. All right, so if I was going to do one, I would want to do it, and I'm going to call it Beloved because that was the assignment that I gave to my students. All right, sorry. All right, so let me explain the assignment. For my assignment, I used the book Beloved by Toni Morrison. And this was a book that Cameron, Kathy, and I read in another class that we were in. My fictional course that I created for this Web 2.0 tools class was Survey of Southern Literature. And so it's a very complicated book, and I wanted my students to be able to write the plot out as a collaborative effort. So I used Padlet for them to put the plot points on the Padlet. So I decided that I would use a grid. So this would be the layout right here. And so when the Padlets went on, they would be in a grid pattern, all right? And then I chose the wallpaper, and of course I wouldn't choose rocks because I just wanted something plainer. And so rather than choose that, I just chose at the time, I chose, I think I chose the blackboard, which is dull, but anyway, that's what I chose. All right, and so then we're ready to get started. All right, we're done right now. So we're finished with that. And they do want you to decide who can use the Padlet. And so as the teacher, you can decide whether or not you want to have a password or you just want it to be private. So I'm just going to decide that it's private, and that just means that only I can access it and people that I invite to access it. So it's just like a Google Doc in that regard. You invite who you want to share. So I would invite students in my classroom to be part of this, and that's what, and then they could add to it. All right, and then they could write, but they couldn't delete, or they couldn't edit someone else's post, and so that would be important also in a collaborative effort in a classroom. All right, so I'm done with that now. All right, so I'm going to start posting. And so what you do with the Padlet, then there's just this little tool down here, and it says you can drop or drag files, or you can just click like that and you can just put it up here. So you can say Beloved here, and then you can write plot or post 1, and then you can add an audio comment if you want to just narrate your post, or you can add a video, or here you can attach a file, or you can add an image, or you can insert a document here. All right, once that's done, then you can add another post if you want. All right, and then the next person can write their post. Whoops. And then if you don't like that, you can trash it. And I am sure I want to delete it so that we can get back to that. And that's how that works. And then if you want to share it with other people, it's the same as a Google Doc. You can do this, like I mentioned, you can do it as you have your contributors, or if you want to share it out and about, they've got this scan code, or else you can do Facebook and Twitter. You can embed it in your website, your blog or something like that. You can email it, you can save it or print it. I mean, it's just a very neat tool, I think. So if you haven't tried it, you ought to take a look at it, in my opinion. I think it could work for other applications than my class. I can see it being used in psychology or even maybe math, Cameron. I don't know. It may be too simple for your math that you do because it sounds so hard, but I think it's a step-by-step deal. So anyway, the last thing is Google Docs, and I feel like I'm going on. So anyway, we all know about Google Docs. They're an easy collaborative tool, and I think that to me, the Google Docs are even better than Google Slides. Google Slides, though, the thing that I like the most about them are that they save over and over again. And recently I had done a PowerPoint for another class, and I I X'd out of it, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've lost my whole presentation. And I hadn't, but I had lost a slide or two. And so that is, to me, one of the best things about these Google products is that they continue to save everything for you. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you've worked for a long time on something and you lose it, it's really disappointing. So anyway, the other thing that I like is that it has the comments section, and it has the revision history. And, we talked about collaborative efforts being a process also. That's an important part of it. And so I think that I like that aspect of the Google product. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor that. I feel like I've gone on long enough. And I just sort of want to end this wishing all of you the best of luck. I feel like we have become friends, many of us, particularly those of us who have been doing this for 7 months together. And I appreciate all that I've learned from you, and I wish each of you the best of luck in all you do with all of this newfound information and your degrees that you're getting. And I hope that our paths will cross again. I will probably be taking some classes again next year to get my 18 hours of concentration in one subject. So maybe I will see you then. And finally, to Dr. Langhorst, I want to thank you for all you've done. You're just a terrific professor. You've really given us so much information and shown us by example what it means to be a great online instructor. I can't imagine really all I've learned. I need to go back and process and try and look at it again and see how I can use all that you've shown me and taught me. So thank you so much, and good luck everybody getting all the work done this week, and I'll see you. Have a good rest of the summer. Bye-bye.